We are here in Berlin, fresh. We only arrived a couple of days ago.
We got here on Saturday and it's Friday today.
We met on a train as well on the way to Smash, this program that we are both involved in.
We were the very first ones to meet because we were on the same subway and we recognized each other from the yoga mat I was carrying.
Yeah. And we are here for 3 months living in Berlin, participating in the Smash program.
Because it's like the first week and we are all a group of people coming from abroad, so there's not that many people from really Berlin. In the first week, it doesn't give you instantly a sense of the Berlin scene, dance scene. It's still very abstract.
But I think what's exciting is that the program is quite international, you know. So even those people who have been living in Berlin, have only been in Berlin for about four years, you know, maybe studying, and so there's this like excitement about the city attracting people internationally, you know, from all over.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's because you have the feeling that Berlin is a city that like gives the possibility to come here and to experiment, even though you're not in the scene. Yeah. So there's a lot of like, I talk about Europe because I know it better, but there's a lot of European cities you feel like if you don't know or if you don't have a way in, there's like no way to somehow connect. Whereas Berlin offers these different openings to ease into it.
Yeah, possibility to engage.
Yeah, and so I realized that I was like, we were 4, 5, 6 people, and I realized that I was just sitting there with dancers. And then they realized that I'm not a dancer, so they kind of started informing me what exists in dance, you know. And it was because it started about Trisha Brown. Somebody was, I'm a huge fan of her, I love her, and I was like, I don't know who Trisha Brown is. And they were like, what? You don't know who Trisha Brown is. So I had to write it down in my little notebook so that I can like look at Trisha Brown. But from like really the Berlin scene, contemporary Berlin scene, I don't think I know anybody yet.
Because it's my first time in Berlin, in terms of kind of like working and engaging with the scene, that there's this excitement and this kind of curiosity as well, you know, because the scene as I know it is historic, right? We have this kind of like Eurocentric vision of art and dance, you know, and so I mean that's also why the attraction to come to Europe and to come to Berlin specifically in terms of like looking at the history of like dance theater and dance and being in the city during the festival, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Because we are part or not part yet or becoming part of the scene. Are we necessarily speaking the same language? I think we're not. And I think it's exciting to see all these different languages and how they try to understand each other and to communicate. And sometimes I wonder maybe the scene is one place where people speak the same language.
Yes.
And then it's really nice to come and shake this up. Because as soon as you start to speak the same language, you're falling asleep. Thanks to the fact that so many international artists come to Berlin, I hope that they are shaking the scene all the time. And this is probably what makes the Berlin scene interesting, because it doesn't come to rest.
Yeah, and that there is that, you know, that the Berlin-based artists have that frustration, you know, in terms of wanting continuity or wanting stability, but that Berlin is a space that like calls for instability, you know, it like draws people here to be like, come, let's experience, you know.
That's why the scene is what it is.
Exactly. So like, I don't know, maybe the idea of kind of continuity is also a fantasy because of the nature of the beast of the city.
When you're a young artist looking at it, you feel like there's this deep dysfunctioning of like, because of money, because of a name, because of some opportunities some people get. And then at the same time, you know you want to work with these people, even though you feel like they're really doing a bad job at running their institution. I don't think you will go ahead and tell that one person, like, this is crap what you do. Because it's just like, it's power and it's politics within a tiny group.
And also because, I guess because the networks are small. Yeah, your networks are small, and maybe you have this like preconceived idea of like climbing the ladder, you know, that you don't want to kind of upset people, or I don't know, I'm trying to think of also within the Johannesburg dance scene. I think, you know, my kind of frustration of spaces that were like inaccessible, or, you know, kind of very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not inclusive, so exclusive. Like, you have to know the right people, you have to be making a certain kind of work, you know, there's like a criteria. Was quite frustrating, and so, you know, a kind of strategy that I use is that I kind of co-created an experimental dance festival. So like a small platform, making a space where other people could come and put on work. But I think it's difficult to critique because often, you know, with artists and dancers, it's all about the ego, and people get really offended, you know, and take it like very personally. So it's difficult to like critique like a movement or a scene or a power structure without like, you know, maybe kind of digging at someone's ego a little bit. But I think it's important. I think there must be a dialogue or some kind of pushback so that we can be kind of more inclusive in practice.
I think it's another fantasy where you like hope that being in an artistic circle, you will escape this oppressing politics, and you hope that these people they have these spaces of freedom, you know, like doing a performance is a space of freedom where you can question yourself, and you think through the questions that they are going to raise in doing their own performance, they will realize what they do to the theater and blah blah. But somehow I think it's sad to see how it doesn't seem to affect the people. I like, for myself, I think the last real performance I've like led is a few years ago, and since then I didn't do anything because I didn't feel the need. Like I didn't have one topic where like the works I'm really proud of, they came from a vision. It came from somewhere, and I thought, okay, so I need to follow that vision and to put the people together and the things together to create that vision. But I feel like the people that are high up in institutions, they don't work like that at all anymore. And what I really regret sometimes is like it has become their job to do performances, so they do them, and there's like I feel no necessity in what I see sometimes in institutions, and then I'm like, we're losing all the point of what a performance is, what theater is, because of politics. And I think it's kind of your responsibility to not fall into that, and to use the people that through their own choice of their own career fell into that, to use them in one way to do your thing and raise your voice.
I don't see myself making work for mainstream platforms ever, really, because that's not the kind of work that I'm interested in. And so this is what excites me about Smash, is that it kind of, as it offers, if my expectation would be to explore and engage with these methodologies, you know, different methodologies to movement research, to composition, to kind of practices of embodiment, and then, you know, more collaborative ways of understanding dance and the experimental dance scene in Berlin.
Berlin is a good place to do that because it's still like in a very, very experimental way you can approach the stage again. And Smash was also a good way to do that.
I'm attracted by this idea of like artists being global citizens, you know, and formulating a global network. I think also it's very important to travel if you are trying to kind of develop your professional portfolio so that you can showcase your work internationally on international platforms, but so that you can also meet artists and be inspired and, have collisions and collaborations, and I think that's important in developing your body of work. So, Smash hopefully offers an opportunity to meet, you've got 20 people to kind of connect with people and during the 3 months, even though it's a kind of training program, to also make work, with your participants. I hope so. I hope to make a lot of work with different participants within the program, and kind of grow my own kind of global network.
I think when you choose to do an artistic career or to go this artistic path, you always have this duality. Or maybe it's because I'm from Luxembourg and in Luxembourg, when you're 30, you have to have a house and 2 cars. But I think when you choose this artistic path, is a big part of it is getting rid of this preconceived idea of what you should achieve in life. But then you also feel that so that your artistic work has value, you have to be able to live from it. And so or at least to earn a certain living with it. And so I think I got really lucky because when I finished school, I was in Luxembourg and I was one of the few young artists from Luxembourg. So I got a lot of fundings or I got really good auditions, even though I felt like I was 22 and I felt like I didn't know anything. And suddenly I had, so much money to do my own project, or I got this really big audition. So I felt like, wow, Luxembourg is that safe place where I can really make some money being an artist. That never happens anywhere. But then there's always this really big struggle of, you wanted to be an artist, so you wanted to get out of this safety. You want to get out of this place where it's really easy and so I think even though I know I'll be staying in Luxembourg because I think it's important to really make your living as an artist, to kind of get value for you. To eat and to feel that your work is recognized, because it's so abstract being an artist at your house and doing your little things. But then it's really important also to feed yourself as much as you can and to get out of the bubble that is your safety.
And none of you have plans to stay in Berlin or to become a Berlin-based artist, or is the...
I think it's a fantasy.
Yeah. I think definitely that would be ideal.
Yeah.
But I think there are challenges, border control challenges. I know, maybe
for me not, but
not, from living in Europe, but definitely as a South African with your little green passport, it's very difficult to travel even,
That's a crazy reality. Sometimes we forget.
The privilege of being European. But definitely, and hopefully kind of through the networks and relationships and friendships that we form in Smash, can then, my kind of idea is that it can keep bringing me back to the city or, back to Europe.
I think it's a fantasy to definitely being a Berlin-based artist is a fantasy, but it's also a fantasy being an international artist.
Yes.
Maybe who's Berlin-based, who's London-based, or who's Paris-based, but who goes to work to Johannesburg and then goes to work to London and blah, blah, blah. And
I think for me as an artist, I wouldn't want to be based. I'm no longer interested in being based in one place. So South Africa will always be my home. But now, I don't know, for the next 10 years, my vision is to move, to travel, to make work, to experience and see different things.
There is two fantasies, and with the going away and wanting to stay, or wanting to earn your living and wanting to be free. There is also this duality in wanting to feed yourself in different places, and also the fantasy of one place with specific people that you can work with. Because it's really nice to meet tons of people and tons of methods, but sometimes you have a meeting with one method or with one person or with a group, with a small group of people. And then suddenly, from like being this butterfly that goes everywhere to kind of try out things, you become like this tree that grows in one place. And that for me is also a fantasy of like
Also attractive, right?
yeah,
That's maybe the
it's really,
duality you were speaking about earlier.
Exactly, and it's attractive because, like, just if you have met like this one person that you really can relate to and that really understands you artistically, then you know that this is really valuable. And if you imagine it like bigger, like okay, it's not just one person, but it's, I don't know, this little group of people who stay in one place and who live together in one place. That I can understand this Berlin artist who maybe have been traveling for so long and then who feel like, okay, but
Frustrated.
let's really build ground for a strong ground for something that can be more than just.
But also I think like you have to reimagine what that is, right? So if you think about Smash, it's like now running for its eighth season, and so that's a consistent thing. Yes, but it's 3 months of the year, so it's like a base. It's like how do you reimagine, you know, like a base or a home. So it's not like this consistent, like 365 days a year, for 4 years I'm doing this thing. It's no, annually, for 3 months, I'm going to be here. I feel and I sense that like Smash is like a springboard, yes, for new things. What those things are, maybe we don't know yet what those, you know, but I know I have that feeling, and that like really excites me, like, a lot.
But that's also like the fact that we don't know what these things are is what is really nice about Smash. It's like there is so little pressure. There's like there's no diploma, no performance, no nothing. So you feel like you have the possibility. It's really up to us, but we all have the possibility to go really a step deeper because there is no implication.